Take forward the conversation of this historic day when the two astronauts returned home with their crew. Joining me is Ratan Srivastav, space expert. Good afternoon and welcome to DT India News Hour, sir. Now that Sunita Williams and the crew are safely back on Earth, how do you look back at the whole mission and the dramatic delay that happened?
Thank you, Shubhendu, for inviting me for this conversation. Happy to be having a chat with you. As we have seen that Starliner was launched last year in June and supposed to be an 8-day mission and it has landed up here after 9 months. What we see over here is this, that space travel poses several risks as far as technology is concerned even today when we are sending an untested crew mission to the space, and that too to the space station which has been manned for several decades now. We need to still think about the challenges that could come up in the technology that is being used today as opposed to the technology that was used earlier in the space shuttles. So space travel does have its own challenges, both technical as well as human. Despite the fact that we know that Sunita Williams and Butch were involved with the development of the space, the Starliner with Boeing, and they were quite aware of the challenges that they were going to face. And since they are experienced astronauts, they were able to give their inputs. Yet we have had this huge, I would say, challenge of the helium leaks and also the Starliner not being made fit for travel for the crew. So I think we need to also infer and draw some lessons from what has happened, because we're going to also be sending our Gaganyaan mission very soon, and taking into account the failures and the learnings that we've taken from the Starliner mission, and of course the success of the Falcon, we should be able to incorporate them into our missions as well.
And Ratan, just to emphasize the point a little more, given that the most advanced space agencies in the world can face such anomalies, there's also a trend of space tourism that is picking up. You take civilians to the space, so more work needs to go into the safety aspect of human space missions.
Absolutely, Shubhendu, you're dot on. I mean, definitely space tourism is something which has caught the fancy of the Western world as of now, definitely, and to the well-heeled. But then we must keep in mind that the safety issues are paramount, not only in terms of medical safety, but also technical safety. Because in the case of astronauts, we are taking into account huge medical checks which go into before they are allowed to board the spacecraft. But in the case of space tourism, which is primarily just giving you a feel of the lack of gravity in the space, we go just about ahead of the gravity of the space, let's say 80 to 82 kilometers ahead from the Earth, and give you a feel of the absence of gravity and bring you back. Having said that, the fact remains that it is still dangerous, it is still technology, and it is still technology which involves moving out of the gravity and then re-entering into the Earth's atmospheric surface. So we have to be very careful about how we approach this. And I think as we have the FAA in the United States, we also need to have a regulatory body to regulate the space travel in the times to come.
Right, and from a scientific perspective, do you also see this mission, the prolonged mission, as a sort of blessing in disguise, in the sense that it gave an opportunity to NASA to study the impact of such prolonged missions on the human body and mind?
Absolutely, Shubhendu. So there are 3 dimensions to it. There's, of course, the physical, then there's the psychological, and then, of course, the third is the technical aspect. Having said that, it's not this that Sunita Williams is the person who has spent the longest time in space. Oleg from Russia is the person who spent the longest time in space. Having said that, she has spent more time in space this time than she has done any time before. She's been to this is her 3rd mission to the ISS, and she has commanded the ISS as well. It has given NASA not only the opportunity to understand how to avoid such incidents in the future, technology-wise, but also it will give an opportunity to NASA as well as the medical scientists to understand the impact of the person staying in space who had probably gone with the intention of staying there for 8 days and had to stay back for 9 days. What is the impact of on the human mind of this, apart from the the known problems that we face, that is bone density loss, muscle atrophy, staying away from humanity for such a long time when you have not planned to go for such a long time. In addition, the impact of the spacewalk that she has done, she spent a sizable number of time this time in doing spacewalks. Those also would probably be taken into account when they are going to, go back and see what all has happened on her body, on her mind, as well as inculcate this in the future as future space travel.
Right, and we listed some of the health risk challenges faced by astronauts while in the space. Now, how long does it take for them to also acclimatize back on Earth? And also, are astronauts better prepared, better made to tackle such challenges?
So there can be never, you can never say that the preparation is enough. No preparation can ever be enough. I mean, the instant case is one of the best examples when the preparation was done for probably a week plus, and they've had to stay for 9 months. Having said that, I think they will take about 45 days to 60 days to develop the strength to walk back on Earth, because I think they're going to walk as babies till now when they start walking on the Earth, and this is primarily because the body's system, the muscles, the fluids, the whole I would say musculoskeletal system has to get used to walking on Earth. So as well as, of course, adapting to the changes which gravity brings. So I think 45 to 50 days to 60 days would be required for them to come back to normal working styles. But having said that, we also must take into account that these are seasoned astronauts. These are not newbies. These are not people who've gone first time into the space.
Right, and Prime Minister Narendra Modi has penned a special letter hailing the bravery of the crew. What are the learnings for India as far as its own ambitious human space mission Gaganyaan is concerned?
Absolutely, Shubhendu. As I alluded in the beginning of our conversation today, we have to incorporate the learnings that we have taken from, we're going to take from this mission. And NASA at some point of time will definitely declassify and share it with us, because we are in partnership with NASA for several of our missions, including the NISAR satellite that we'll be sending on later sometime. And NASA and ISRO have been working quite closely together on this. So at some point of time, they will share the findings, and those findings will be helpful for us to prepare for our Gaganyaan mission. Having said that, there's still, I would say, differences in our mission and what has happened with Starliner. So we are going to use our own vehicle, which is GSLV. GSLV has a different fuel mix than the Starliner fuel, the fuel mix that Starliner used. As well as GSLV is a tested vehicle, and as far as we know, ISRO is going to run a series of tests, including dry runs, including putting the Vyomnaut into the space before we put our human Gaganauts into the spacecraft and send them up.
And do you also see
more
this,
important, bring them back?
Yes. Yes, and do you also see this dramatic rescue, return to Earth of the astronaut also makes a case for the kind of partnership and potential between public and private space players, the way in which SpaceX chipped in and came to the rescue, as it were, of the astronauts?
Shubhendu, I think the path for this has already been laid down by the Prime Minister. In the last 10 years, there has been an enhanced, I would say, focus on in the public-private partnership in India. As far as ISRO is concerned, ISRO is now trying to focus on its role as a space agency, which is to do research and design and development of new missions and planning of interplanetary travel, working with other space agencies like ISRO, JAXA, or the European agencies. I think they are more focused on that, and the parts that they have already mastered, for example, the PSLV or the SSLV. These things obviously go into the private sector, which includes both the public sector and the private sector. Sorry, not only the private sector, the public and the private sector. And the public-private partnership in this case will extend in India for probably space travel in a little bit more time. But at the same time, we have also seen that the startups are working very closely with ISRO in developing cost-effective launch vehicles, as well as cost-effective, very, I would say, frugal engineering-based methods to put satellites into space.
Right, on that note, Ratan Srivastava, thank you very much for joining us on the News Hour and
Thank you.
sharing your
It's a
perspective.
joy.